Hello to all my classes. Welcome to week 3. And I just want to help you out with a few things to remind you about work. So we're going to talk about AI, chat, plagiarism, proper citations, and the exam. There's a reason why I have to bring this up, and you can imagine. Um, if, if you're not a person who's doing these kind of things, then you don't have to stress about it. But so let's make this very clear. I'm getting papers from folks that are still not doing citations. Okay, I'm trying really hard to get you all on board right away that you have to cite within the text. I give examples of what that should look like. I mentioned that you have to have dates, and I've mentioned in other announcements that the whole purpose of all of the assignments is for me to see that you are actually watching the videos, engaged with the material that I have provided within each week's module. That's the only thing that I should be seeing. And yet I'm getting some folks that I know are using AI or something similar to put together their papers. If you're one of those folks doing that, you might be a few that were caught, or you might have not been caught yet. If you have not been caught yet, I advise you not to go that route, okay? I am a very helpful professor. I'm generous in my grading and my working with students. But when it gets to the whole plagiarism thing and taking up my time to have to go back over things and realize that some people are cutting and pasting other people's comments, or going to like AI chat to come up with papers, also bringing up stuff that are off topic, not using outside sources, and then not, addressing that, or trying to act like you didn't do that when I've documented it, this is where it's going to get messy for you, okay? So just don't. If you're struggling to keep up, you're probably experiencing what everybody else is. It's hard for me to keep up with grading. We're all doing our best, and I'm going to always work with you when you're trying that. But don't go that route, okay? And I just would advise you, if you've been using AI chat and other forms like that, and you haven't been caught yet, you might want to contact me and address it, so that if I see it later on, that we can, if you address it now, I'm giving you some sort of amnesty. You'll lose some points, but we can move on. But if I have to go in another week or two down the line and I'm seeing plagiarism, just don't do that, okay? It's not going to go well, all right? So I'm just letting you know. Be honest. It's okay. Sometimes we have a moment of weakness when we're struggling. These are tough times, but you have to rally up yourself and make sure you're being an authentic student with me, okay? I don't like to have these kind of announcements, but I have to give it every once in a while, and I want you guys to know that I'm proud of most of your work, and I'm feeling supportive. I'm not, some grumpy old guy, but I do start getting grumpy when I see a pattern of certain things, okay? Now, here's another thing that some of you are doing that are doing good work, and it's very common. You're doing citations and you're only citing one citation. So let me make this very clear again, okay? When you do a paper, what's the point of a citation? What's the point? It's to know that whatever material that was just written has a source. When there's not a citation, it's assumed that all of that came from your brain. And if it came from somewhere else and wasn't given credit, that's called plagiarism. And sometimes a lot of folks understand that like in a more straightforward way, but sometimes I think you kind of wonder, okay, well, do I have to, like, how many citations do I have to have? Well, think about it this way. If you write a thought and you talked about a particular topic and you covered it for maybe 4 sentences, 5 sentences, and that came from a lecture, then you simply, it's a paraphrase. You didn't do it word for word, but you just put in parentheses the video number 1, for example. Or you say, page 2 of the West, for example, the textbook or of another textbook. You have the parentheses with the title or the authors if you want, but then the page number. So everything that's on there, that's what that's meaning. So if you have a citation at the first paragraph in the middle of it, and then you give me the rest of the paper and you don't have the citation, that's not a properly cited paper, okay? And so I'm gonna write to you, some of you on this that I'm seeing, but citations need to be all throughout the paper. In other words, what it should just mean, it's not that complicated. It's difficult. It's not easy. It's not fun to do. Okay, nobody enjoys doing citations. Okay, ever. But you're gonna give your line of thought, and then you're gonna cite where did that information come from, unless it's literally something you already knew and you don't need to give credit to anything. And it would have been using sources within what we covered. If you have any questions about that, then you contact me and I'm going to be more than happy to help you out on that situation. And I'm always going to help you out with anything that you need help on, but you have to reach out to me, okay? And also some of you are writing great papers too, but again, I want you to use the parentheses method. I want you to take a look at the examples I had on the previous announcements, and I want you to use that, okay? Last but not least, then we have the exam coming up. The exam is actually straightforward. It's the same set of expectations for a paper. You notice that there's no multiple choice. You don't have to memorize anything. And so you do need to do a lot of papers and writing, and that cannot be, it's not necessarily enjoyable for a lot of you. But at the very least, you're not required to memorize stuff, okay? And so I just want to encourage you to keep up doing your best. And I'm letting you know too that I'm giving these announcements because I'm trying to create ways out for all of you. I'm trying to make sure that my students stay in and are successful. I'm trying to make sure that if there's something that needs to be fixed, it's going to be fixed because I believe in you and I'm trying to help you out. So that's what the whole entire purpose of this announcement is. So take it as that, and if you find yourself to be a student that knows that you're struggling in certain ways and maybe making some wrong choices, you're going to fix that, take care of it, and you're going to move on, and you're still going to be successful in this class. We still have some time, but it's moving fast. You got to keep up, and you got to stay on top of things. And, if you're playing sports again, and you haven't been turning in your work, you don't automatically get to turn it in. And there's the last thing I want to say. If I go get an entire week with some of you getting no work in, you're going to get dropped. So, unfortunately, a lot of the students that are doing that aren't even listening to this announcement, and it's too late for them when they're doing it. Now, if you're contacting me, okay, and I've agreed to, that's different. But I'm just saying. If you're listening to this announcement and you're realizing that you're one of those that's just been missing in action, this would be a good time to get a hold of me and fix that before it's too late. Okay? So, it's very hot in Modesto. I just got back from Portland, Oregon. I drove with my cousin and his wife, my family, and now I'm in Santa Cruz, but I'm going back to Modesto, and Modesto is pretty brutal. So I understand the suffering of that Modesto heat. I grew up in the Central Valley, never got used to it. So hang in there and keep drinking lots of water and all that. So we'll be in touch, everybody. Take care.